Ranking new movies released in November from worst to best. In last place is Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I'm not the biggest fan of this franchise anyways, but at least the first two had some really fun magic and tricks to keep you entertained along the way. This movie I feel like is very lackluster in the magic department. All of the plot twists and reveals in this movie are either very predictable or just very dumb. I will say I do like all the new cast members kind of being like the next generation of magicians, and seeing them kind of approach things in a different way than our original Four Horsemen is pretty fun, but other than that, really not much here from this movie. Next up is In Your Dreams, a new original animated movie that released on Netflix. This isn't like offensively bad or anything, it's just a very mediocre kids movie that really left no impression on me. It's just about these two kids and their parents are kind of fighting, kind of having some issues. It looks like they're headed towards divorce, so these two kids end up living more in their dream worlds than reality. Kind of ends up just feeling like a Walmart brand Pixar movie. In ninth place is Die My Love, a movie that achieves its goal of being very grating and uncomfortable to watch, but just because that's what the movie was intending to do does not mean I enjoyed watching it. And I absolutely love Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. I think they're both really great overall, and they're pretty good in this movie, but it was just not for me. The movie follows Jennifer Lawrence's character Grace, and she's just dealing with a million issues in this movie. She's kind of slowly descending into madness, just going insane. She's really struggling with being a new mother, and again, very uncomfortable to watch. I can appreciate what the movie was trying to do. It did not work for me. Number 8, I have a French animated movie, Little Amelie, or the character of Rain. It's kind of just about this girl growing up in Japan and kind of just learning about life itself, nature, her family. The animation style is really neat, and it is just a very cute movie. Again, nothing mind-blowing, but solid. At number 7, I have Eternity, which is a new love triangle rom-com movie that follows the premise of after you die, you're pretty much taken to this place where you get to choose anywhere you want to go and live for eternity. But when Elizabeth Olsen dies and is at this place where she has to choose her eternity, she's pretty much torn between her husband of many, many years that she's been living with, and they live to old age together, and her first boyfriend. So it is a very fun and creative concept that I did like the idea of, and I feel like a lot of people are looking way too deep into like the rules of this afterlife and choosing your eternity. Don't do that, because if you think about it too hard, yeah, the entire story falls apart. There are some really funny moments in this movie. I think Miles Teller is the standout performance in this film. I really loved him in this movie. I do think the ending is just very cliched, predictable, and it's kind of the boring choice though. 6, I have Wicked for Good. I am not a big musical person. I'm not even that big on the original Wizard of Oz, but I did really enjoy the first Wicked movie. I thought it was a very enjoyable film. The songs were absolute bangers. While I did still really enjoy Wicked for Good, there are some good songs, but none are as good as anything in part 1. The movie also, just because of the events in the first film, is way darker and more serious, and I kind of miss that kind of whimsical charm that the first movie had, and everything moves at a million miles per minute in this film. Like, there is never a chance to just sit back and breathe. But Cynthia and Ariana are still great in this movie, and even though I didn't care for the songs in this one, their singing is still great. A lot of really great supporting characters in this movie too. Like, everybody kind of stepped up their performances from the first film. I just didn't care for the overall story as much as in part 1, but still a very solid, enjoyable movie. And speaking of solid, enjoyable movies that have some problems, at number 5 is The Running Man. I'm really surprised so many people online absolutely despise this movie. It's nowhere near perfect. If you don't know, the movie just takes place in this dystopian future where there is this game show called The Running Man, that if you can survive for 30 days being hunted down by specific hunters and pretty much the entire country, then you win an insane amount of money and you're set for life. The movie is definitely lacking any of Edgar Wright's really signature style that he has in so many of his films. It definitely feels way more like a generic action movie than one of his movies, and I will say it takes a bit long to get to the actual running man portion of this film. Like, the first hour of this movie, there's really no action, but the action sequences we do get in this movie I think are fun. Glenn Powell is pretty solid in this role. He's really good in all these like kind of 80s properties that are really cheesy. I think he works perfectly in them. There is definitely some weird pacing issues outside of that first hour too. Even when you get into the action, things are kind of broken up weirdly, and there's some straight up like PowerPoint presentations explaining what's happening in the movie to the audience that felt really unnecessary. But overall, I thought this was a fun enough action movie. At number 4, I have Arco, another French animated movie that kind of feels like a Studio Ghibli film if it was just made by the French. The concept is super interesting and right up my alley because I love anything kind of sci-fi related. It pretty much asks the questions, what if rainbows were actually people from super far in the future? And every time you saw a rainbow, that was them traveling through time. And it follows this young 12-year-old boy trying to fly through time for the first time, but it doesn't work out well. He ends up falling into the past, which in this movie is 2075, so it's still pretty futuristic. Again, like I said, it definitely has that Ghibli feel, just kind of the overall tone and level of humor and everything in this movie. It has that kind of sweet, wholesome vibe to it, but a really enjoyable movie that I think is great for kids to watch, really solid messages and everything like that, and it's not just complete brain rot like the Minions or something. At number 3, I have Zootopia 2, which honestly maybe should be at number 2, but I'm putting it here. It's still a really great Disney sequel that I honestly think is better than the first Zootopia movie. It might be a little bit less funny than the first movie, but it is still a very funny and witty movie. All the jokes still have that same vibe of the first film. I really love the way we expand the world of Zootopia, kind of explore its history and past here. All the new characters are really fun additions. The plot twists and villains, everything in this movie is honestly just an improvement on the first. And honestly, Disney has absolutely struck gold with this. Like, they are definitely setting up a third Zootopia movie. We'll probably get a fourth. This thing is making insane amounts of money already, and I'm honestly here for just a very enjoyable film. Now, before the top 2, drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments below your favorite movie you watched in November. At number 2, I have Predator Badlands. I'm not sorry about this placement at all being so high up because I just had an absolute blast with this movie. I don't think a lot of the humor in this movie does work. It's kind of that MCU quippy level humor for the first hour. Again, that doesn't really land for me, but almost everything else works. The action in this movie is incredible. I just love the idea of following a predator as the main character of a Predator film, him kind of trying to prove himself to his clan, going on this journey, meeting different synthetic robots and working with them. And in the last hour of this movie, it really locks in. A lot of the turns in the story really worked for me. It gets darker. Again, the action just keeps getting elevated. And I was like, wow, this is actually just a really fun movie that I really have almost no complaints for outside of the humor. And number 1, I'm going with Train Dreams, which I know a lot of people haven't even heard of. It's on Netflix right now. Please go watch this movie. It absolutely destroyed me emotionally. It's a movie I kind of compare to Life of Chuck because even though they are very different films, they kind of have similar themes, and they're both just kind of about the lives of a regular everyday guy. In this situation, we follow this logger and his family. Every single scene in this movie is absolutely gorgeous to look at. It should win a Best Cinematography Oscar, and honestly, I would nominate it for Best Score as well. The music is so powerful. It elevates so many of these quiet little scenes that just creep up on you and destroy you. But even though I keep bringing up how emotional and sad this movie can be, it also is one of those films like Life of Chuck, as I mentioned earlier, that makes you just think and appreciate all the little moments in your life just a little bit more. And a movie being able to make you think about that is honestly just really powerful. So like I said, let me know in the comments below your favorite movie you watched that was released in November. If you want to see all my previous month rankings, click the playlist at the top of the screen, or all my individual movie reviews, click the playlist at the bottom. And thank you for watching.